1 in 4 South Africans are out of work, and unrest in the mining sector is expected to drive unemployment numbers even higher in Africa's biggest economy. But on the busy streets of major cities like the economic capital Johannesburg, informal traders are taking the situation into their own hands. Jeffrey Namakonde runs a fruit stall not far from a supermarket outlet in one of the city's downtown districts. He works 6 days a week, collecting his merchandise from the fresh food market at 6 a.m. and closing shop at around 8 p.m. Namakonde makes about $500 a month. That's almost more than double the income of some blue-collar casual workers. None of his income is taxed or documented.
I have 3 children at home. I have my grandmother who's not working, and then I have my uncle also who's not working, and also my wife.
Street trading alliances see the informal trade concept as a good way to reduce a growing dependence on South Africa's welfare state. Presently, informal trading is classified under small businesses, but street trading interest groups say the government needs to classify, regulate and develop it as an independent entity.
They categorize it as the informal sector, and we see a fundamental difference between informal sector and informal traders. The informal traders constitute part of the people's economy, whereas the informal sector as a whole are casual workers working for the formal sector.
While trading groups push for what has now been branded the people's economy to be embraced by the government and mainstream business bodies, traders claim they have been branded as an obstructive and unsightly nuisance. Namakonde says he is often harassed by police and has to pay huge fines to retrieve seized merchandise, only to find it has been destroyed or stolen. He claims he abides by the city's zoning rules and is registered as a street vendor, where many are not.
Even if you are in your trading space, but they don't even want to know, they just come and grab your stock, and then they left you with a ticket of 2,000 rand. They don't even want to know how much you pay for that stock, how much it costs your stock, even if it's less than 2,000 rand. But they'll give you that ticket of 2,000 rand in order that it mustn't come, it mustn't even think to go and pay for that, to go and pay that 2,000 rand to get your stock back. By doing that, even if when you go to claim your stock there by JMPD, you'll find out that every day our stock is missing there by JMPD.
The government denies harassment and says it is trying to get the informal businesses into tax brackets and formal sector regulation.
Local authorities and law enforcement actually attack those sectors. They don't want them to be around. And it's often a case of constituents saying, not in my backyard, for instance. So they don't want informal trading on their doorstep or informal manufacturing, etc.
Analysts warn that frustrating informal trade could put millions more out of work and spark a revolution akin to what was witnessed in North Africa last year. The so-called Jasmine Revolution started in Tunisia in January 2011, when the rural poor took to the streets to protest high unemployment, rising prices and a corrupt rule. It swept the Arab world into North Africa over a matter of weeks.
The political consequence we can see from what occurred in the Jasmine Revolution in Arab countries over the last few years. It was the suppression of informal trading in Tunisia that set a spark throughout the Middle East, and that led to the overthrow of regimes in those countries.
The ruling ANC party unveiled its infrastructure development plan in February, which it says should create millions of jobs. But Finance Minister Pravin Gordhan says the economy needs sustained growth of 7% a year. That's nearly 3 times its current rate to make a dent in unemployment.